the Huffington Post recently had a story about a new DNC Finance Chair. And this Finance Chair was appointed because the other one stepped down. The Finance Chair is basically number two to the chairman, which is Tom Perez. We know what you think about Tom Perez. Not exactly a capital P progressive, but he does, of course, lead with his values. So, Chris Korge was appointed to be the finance chair. And the Huffington Post story was pretty good. I did a video on it last week, and their story showed that Mr. Korge had donated to Kamala Harris in January. It showed that Mr. Korge had previously tweeted pretty anti-Bernie Sanders sentiments in 2018, so not so recent, not so long ago, in December of 2018. He retweeted a tweet that called Bernie Sanders a danger to the future of the Democratic Party. In 2016, during the hotly contested Democratic primary between Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders, he tweeted, "The only burn you're going to feel is the only burn that will be felt is the pain the middle class will feel from Bernie Sanders' tax increases." He is a real estate bigwig in South Florida. He's a lawyer. He's a former lobbyist, and he is one of the biggest fundraisers and money men in America. He has raised millions, with an M, millions, for the Democratic Party. And I'm about to share with you, he is also, wait for it, a mega donor to Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the previous DNC chairwoman. Remember her? Miss Neutral, big donor to Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and a huge donor and fundraiser for Hillary Clinton. He also has given to Joe Biden in the past. So, again, he is the finance chair. As finance chair, he said, I am definitely going to subscribe to the DNC's neutrality policy. And again, why this is so important is obviously one of the biggest issues with the 26th primary and campaign was basically the DNC tossing its full body onto the scale to make Hillary Clinton the nominee and sabotage Bernie Sanders' campaign. So it's very important. Who are they putting into positions now? What is their history? Who have they given money to? Have they publicly came out for or against candidates that are currently running? Well, as you're going to see in this story, he gave money to Kamala Harris in January of this year, and he gave money to Joe Biden while he was a senator, and he did not respond to our requests for comment, nor did the DNC, as to whether he gave Joe Biden money right after Joe Biden's campaign launch, because there was about a week or two between Joe Biden announcing his campaign at the end of April and this guy, Chris Korge, being named finance chair of the DNC. I have no way of knowing if he gave money because Joe Biden's financial information is not public yet. Joe Biden announced his candidacy after the deadline for the first quarter, where the Federal Election Commission posts donor information. So we don't know yet we know companies who's giving Biden money because we know who he's doing fundraisers with, but I can't tell you whether this guy gave money to Joe Biden since his campaign announcement, which would be pretty important to know if the new DNC finance chair has given money in the last 3 months to Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. Excuse me, the last 5 months to Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. So I'm going to read you the story. Again, Jen helped me out with this, and it's at statuscoup.com, so go check it out. You could also check out on statuscoup.com our store, which I'll tell you about more, but we now have a merchandise store right there at the top. So if you want for the summer to get your Status Coup shirts, get your Status Coup pillows, maybe we'll be able to come up with some beach towels, who knows? I'll show you the store again later. So, headline, DNC pledges neutrality after hiring Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Hillary Clinton megadona as finance chair. And right there in the sub-headline, apparently nothing has changed. DNC Executive Committee member James Zogby told Status Coup. So I'll read a little bit, stop, give you my thoughts. DNC chair, and again, we published this morning. This is Jen and I's reporting. DNC Chair Tom Perez has vowed neutrality during the 2020 Democratic primary, 3 years after the party, by all objective measures, tossed its full body on the scale to make Hillary Clinton the Democratic nominee over Bernie Sanders. But Perez's mission may be complicated by the man he's appointed as the DNC's new finance chair. Chris Korge, a Florida real estate mogul, attorney, former lobbyist, and prolific moneyman, who the New York Times once advised presidential candidates to make their first stop before deciding whether to run. Korge's son seems to agree, dubbing his dad K-Money and K-Stacks. So let's stop for a moment. And I linked in the story to the New York Times piece. The New York Times once wrote, before launching a campaign, before hiring staffers, before doing anything, if a candidate is interested in running for president, the first thing they need to do is go kiss the ring of Chris Korge, the new DNC Finance Chair. We'll put the link in the super chat to that New York Times story. His son calls him K-Money and K-Stacks. And I didn't report it in this story because it was about the father, Chris Korge, but apparently his son has had some corruption and potential bribery scandals in his political life in South Florida. So, one lawmaker who has benefited from Korge's cash is controversial former Democratic National Committee Chairwoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz, as well as former Secretary of State and 2016 Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton, who Korge once referred to as a big sister to him. Seeing a trend here? Debbie Wasserman Schultz, chairwoman of the DNC in 2016 during the primary. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, shown in emails that WikiLeaks released, basically overseeing a public relations enterprise for Hillary Clinton while going on national television calling it neutral. Hillary Clinton, considered a big sister to this donor who raised millions for the Clintons over the years for both of their campaigns. Korge donated $2,700 to Congresswoman Wasserman Schultz in her 2018 re-election campaign, so last year, but maybe more importantly, he donated the same amount during her 2016 primary contest against surprise progressive insurgent and Sanders-endorsed Florida professor Tim Canova. At the time, Wasserman Schultz was, for the first time, vulnerable of losing her seat in the face of Canova, who received $3.8 million in small dollar donations from 209,000 individual donors to compete with Wasserman Schultz's big money machine. Canova ultimately lost by 6,775 votes, but not without controversy. Broward County Supervisor of Elections Brenda Snipes, a Wasserman Schultz ally, destroyed the paper ballots from that race, which cost her her job and resulted in a judge ruling that the destruction of the ballots, for which Canova wanted to inspect, seeking irregularities, was illegal. Overall, Korge donated $13,400 to Wasserman Schultz's campaign since 2011. He also gave the DNC a significant amount a year before Wasserman Schultz was named chairwoman. This is important. He donated $15,000 to the Democratic National Committee in April 2010. You with me? A year later, Wasserman Schultz was named chairwoman. A $15,000 donation is not a small amount to the Democratic National Committee. Most donations are smaller than that. He's given a lot of money to the Democratic National Committee in years before that. But in 2010, he gave $15,000. 1 year later, his candidate, and somebody that he has fundraised a lot of money for, as well as donated directly a lot of money to, becomes chairwoman. I can't definitively say cause and effect because I don't know. I don't know what happened in back rooms, but I can report $15,000 to the Democratic National Committee in 2010. Debbie Wasserman Schultz is made chairwoman in 2011. One of the big reasons she was made chairwoman in 2011 was because she had a pretty good record of raising loads of cash from big donors like Chris Korge. Again, major real estate figure in South Florida. So 15 grand, 2010 to the DNC, Wasserman Schultz becomes chairwoman right after that. So, combing through financial records, Status Quo found that Korge donated $5,000 to Wasserman Schultz to the DNC, in Wasserman Schultz's first month as chairwoman in 2011. Overall, he sunk $60,718 into the DNC's coffers during Wasserman Schultz's reign from 2011 through her resignation on the eve of the DNC convention in July 2016. Now, $60,718. Why? While Debbie Wasserman Schultz is the chairwoman, 2011 to 2016. This after $15,000 the year before she became chairwoman. Seems to me this is somebody who really supports Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who had to resign in disgrace to the DNC. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who, as we'll talk about later, went on national TV spreading lies about Bernie Sanders' campaign and his supporters. So this is a person with a not long ago recent history of significant financial support to Debbie Wasserman Schultz. His support for Wasserman Schultz dates back even before she was running for Congress. He donated $1,000 to her in December 2003 when she was a Florida state senator. So she was a Florida state senator and then she ran for Congress. Of course, Wasserman Schultz was forced to resign as DNC chairwoman after WikiLeaks emails revealed the DNC under Wasserman Schultz leadership had actively propped up Hillary Clinton's campaign while attempting to sabotage Bernie Sanders' candidacy. As DNC chairwoman, Wasserman Schultz appeared far from neutral during the primary. In one of the highest profile instances, she appeared on national television and accused Sanders supporters of allegedly stoking violence and throwing chairs at the Nevada Democratic Convention, a narrative that was repeated across national media outlets, but was clearly false. And I link to what shows that it was false. So this part about him supporting Debbie Wasserman Schultz is important. The DNC will tell you, well, Debbie Wasserman Schultz isn't with the DNC anymore. She has nothing to do with it, and progressives and Bernie Sanders supporters should have no worry about Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Well, she's still a congresswoman. She represents the area this gentleman lives. This gentleman has donated $13,400 directly to her and $60,000 while she was DNC chair. He donated before she was even a congresswoman. So we have a long history and a long record of a relationship here. And basically the DNC, by saying, no, they're neutral, is telling you, oh, forget all his donations, forget their relationship, forget that they come from the same area. Debbie Wasserman Schultz has no influence. I'll leave that for you to decide. But Hillary Clinton and his relationship is even worse as far as money. Korge's support for Hillary and Bill Clinton has been even more pronounced. He has raised millions for both, going back to the 1990s as one of their top bundlers. A bundler raises, a lot of money for candidates, contacting friends, business associates, all that to get them to donate. Since 2005, he's donated $21,700 directly to the Clintons' campaign committees. In 2016, Korge gave $41,000 to two joint fundraising committees between the Clinton campaign and the DNC, $25,000 to the Hillary Action Fund, and $16,000 to the Hillary Victory Fund, a controversial joint fundraising committee between the Clinton campaign, the DNC, and state Democratic parties that Politico reported was akin to money laundering. So let's add this up, okay? We got $21,000 directly to Hillary Clinton's campaigns since 2005. So that's her 2008 campaign and her 2016 campaign. He's raised millions for Clinton, including he raised a lot of money for her in 2016. He was one of her Hillblazers, I think they called them, which is you become a Hillblazer if you raise a lot of money for Hillary Clinton during her campaign. He also gave $41,000. So now you're talking direct money, $41,000, $21,000, $41,000, $61,000, almost $63,000 between directly to her campaign committee as well as the joint fundraising committees. And the reason Politico reported that it was a money laundering scheme, the Hillary Victory Fund, is because it was supposed to be shared money. So money sent to the DNC was supposed to go or sent to the Hillary Clinton campaign. It was supposed to be spread where Hillary Clinton's campaign got some, the DNC got some, and the state Democratic parties got some. However, it somehow got funneled, most of it got funneled back to Hillary Clinton's campaign. So when Politico is saying Politico, a corporate mouthpiece, is saying it's a money laundering scheme, it's a money laundering scheme, which I've reported on previously. He also donated between $100,000 and $250,000 to the Clinton Foundation, according to the Washington Post. Overall, Korge has offered Hillary Clinton the most Florida sunshine, or as the Tampa Bay Times put it, no one is closer to the Clintons in Florida, and almost nobody in America has raised more money for Hillary Clinton. Nobody in America has raised more money than for Hillary Clinton. In the political circle of life, Korge's support for Wasserman Schultz makes sense. She's a powerful Florida congresswoman who's known to have a transactional relationship with big Democratic donors. I linked to an example of that transactional relationship. She's also been a longtime ally of Hillary Clinton, having served as Clinton's 2008 co-chair on her presidential campaign. Wasserman Schultz's previous entrenchment in Clinton world would have endeared her to Korge, who's described his relationship with the former Secretary of State as going beyond writing checks. You ready for this? She was almost like a big sister, really caring. She would offer advice. Korge told the Miami Herald in 2016 about the support and advice Clinton offered while he was going through a divorce with his wife. Well, if you help raise millions of dollars, I will sit on the phone with you till 2 a.m. and give you the best breakup advice I could give. I mean, I'm not minimizing it. Divorce is a painful process, and I guess good for Hillary to give him some nice advice. But obviously, the initial relationship was based on him raising a hell of a lot of money for the Clintons. And Korge went to bat for his big sister in 2016 and has clearly held a grudge against Bernie Sanders. And this goes to the Huffington Post, who reported this before Status Coup. But as Huffington Post reported, in December 2018, Korge retweeted a tweet from someone calling Bernie Sanders dangerous to the future of the Democratic Party. This is 6 months ago, folks. Korge retweeted somebody writing, Bernie Sanders is a danger to the future of the Democratic Party. During the 2016 campaign, Korge tweeted out, there is no choice. The only burn the middle class will feel from Bernie is the pain from all of the tax increases. Both of those tweets have mysteriously been deleted. Hope you enjoyed that last video. Hop on over to statuscoup.com where you can sign up for our email list and become a member for as low as $5 to $10 a month. Membership is how we grow. That's statuscoup.com/join. And remember, join our email list so we can grow the revolution with you.